Hello, I'm the Namekian, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Fire Emblem Path of Radiance for the GameCube. We are on map 5, or part 5, called Flight. When last we left Ike and company, they successfully defeated a group of Dayan soldiers that waylaid them on the road, and at the end of the battle they discovered a young woman claiming to be the princess of Crimea. And while the Grail mercenaries were deciding on what to do, a group of Dayan soldiers surrounded their keep or fort or home, and telling them that they should release the princess or they'll be killed or whatever. But basically they were going to kill them anyways, apparently. So left with no other choice, Ike and his companions armor up and get ready to defend the keep. So what I'm doing here initially is just doing some item control. Now this here is probably one of my favorite maps in the entire game on the harder difficulty settings, though. This is the first map that has the fog, or has the fog effect on there, where you can't really see around you, or you can't see the whole map, as the fog of war effect on it, which makes this map actually kind of fun. Sadly, you can't turn that on in the lower difficulties, so it kind of takes away some of the mystique and thrill of the map, but it's still a pretty fun attack and defend. Now, you only have to survive six turns basically to clear the map, but as you see, the boss has that item that we really do want. So he's definitely a kill that you want to do, and the hammer is actually a pretty nice drop there as well. But really, your only goal, your objective, isn't to kill a boss or to kill everyone on the screen. It's just simply to survive for 6 turns. And you do have another loss condition outside of just Ike dying. If any of the enemy soldiers basically land on that blinking square that Ike is standing on, you will also lose the map as well. However, you don't have to have someone always on there defending it. You just have to make sure that the enemy doesn't land on it. So for this map, I split everyone up into 2 different groups. Titania will really shine on this particular map. I want her to get some of the special treatment over the Getry, or the tank, whatever you want to call them. And there's a bunch of enemies with bows and arrows as well, so your placement of your squishy characters is kind of important to look out and remember as well. Now, there are many ways that you could approach this map. You can kind of switch the way that I've basically done it and have Titania basically solo the left side of the map and have everyone else solo the rest. It can be somewhat difficult if you haven't really been leveling Oscar, which I haven't really been doing very well. Your character's just, by and large, can't really handle those mounted units very well. And there's a lot of them, especially on the harder difficulty settings. There's a lot more, so it makes it kind of difficult to do it unless you've been really leveling up all your characters. But I don't feel too bad neither, right? It's not too bad of an idea to start giving Titania some XP anyways. You're gonna get a we're a few maps away from a pretty big spike, I guess, in the enemy level. So you don't want to be ignoring her either, because she's going to come into being somewhat important as things move on. As you can see, you know, just that one mounted unit is somewhat troublesome for Oscar Boyd and Ike. So on the harder difficulties settings, you can see where having them go down the middle would be a bit more difficult than having them go to the left. But really, that's where the fun of the strategy and the gameplay comes in. You're not set to having to do one course or one method of playing. You can play the game several times and not be able to repeat, you know, not be able to repeat what you do in each map. Now, this is where I think the AI kind of messes up a little bit on the medium settings. On the harder difficulty settings, those three would have probably attacked Oscar, since the axe would have the advantage over the spear, and they will probably have a better chance of killing him than Oscar, who's Boyd, who's in the bush. But they did choose to go after Boyd this time around, which, you know, it's kind of lucky. I wouldn't expect that luck on the harder difficulty settings, though. As you can see, Titania is just owning them. But she's not really getting that much XP out of it. But she's pretty much, even on the harder difficulty settings, heck, even sometimes even on the easier difficulty settings, she's your best bet to get down and fight the boss. Without risking some of your other characters within that 6 turn limits. It's really hard to protect those squishy characters and get someone down there. So basically, you got only her or Oscar could get down there that fast. And even if he's not powerful enough to defeat the boss. Let alone withstand all the other cannon fodder that goes along with it. Of course, mileage does vary. A critical hit could easily change things around, you know. I was a little bit hesitant there because of the percentage chance there. Boy would have pretty much been annihilated the next turn. If had he missed, that would have been a poor move. But that adds to the fun. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. And now I'm stuck on what to do. You know, I can't defeat the two of them. And the question is what should I do to make sure that I protect the squishy characters? And Ike's pretty low on health. So I just take the risk. Now on the harder difficulty settings, if I was in that position, Ike would pretty much be in trouble where he's at. But there is some leniency in the easy and medium settings. And again, the AI goes after Boyd. I don't know why Boyd's attracting the aggro. I know Shinon has the provoke ability, which means that the enemy will tend to go after him versus the other players. I have no idea why they were going after Boyd. I know generally the axe user would go after Oscar or Boyd since Ike is a sword user, but generally if the computer has a chance to actually kill a player, they will go down that route and not down the route of the weapon triangle. So I got very, very, very lucky there. I think this is the first map, I could be mistaken, that we get enemy reinforcements that pop up on the map. Now, I could be mistaken, but I think some of the previous Fire Emblem games that the enemies would appear at the beginning of the enemy's turn. I don't remember if one of the Game Boy games or Game Boy Advance games that did that, and that was really cheap. It was a beginner's trap basically, and that was a pain to deal with. But in this instance, it's generally pretty fair on, unless it's a special mob. It's pretty fair with having them appear before the start of their turn. But it can, especially on the harder difficulty settings, and we'll see later on in some of the maps, that it can really change up your battle process, or your battle thinking. That can really just tip the scale. Basically what I'm kind of doing here is strategizing the attack a little bit. I know I can't kill him, but the thought process is I know that Soren will get the first attack in the battle, and even if for whatever reason he didn't, he would survive one hit at least, and get the kill because I think I'm running. My turns are about up or something like that, I think. So I just kind of strategizing how I want that to play out, and then I ended up not risking it and protecting him instead. We're not necessarily running out of turns, but and why that enemy didn't attack, I have no idea. There was a chance, although slight, that he could have killed Boyd. Why he didn't attack at all, I don't know. and this last turn will pretty much end the map. So overall, this map is pretty simple. There really isn't a whole lot of surprises to it, with the exception of being the Fog of War and the harder difficulty settings. But it is a fun map. There really isn't any enemy unit that is just overly challenging. Even the boss on the harder difficulty isn't that challenging. Getting to him is a little bit harder, but actually fighting him really isn't. It really isn't all that difficult. So I will go ahead and sign off, leaving the rest of the turn for you guys to watch. And just to remind you guys, I am separating out the intro and the beginning for basically convenience purposes and for spoiler purposes. You can pretty much watch the maps without it really spoiling the story, or not as much at least. I have created 3 playlists for variety's sake, depending on what you want. Just battles, just the cutscenes, or everything. So feel free to check that out. I will also be hopefully improving the quality of the videos here pretty soon, or as things move along, as I'm getting more and more comfortable with doing this and with the software. But we'll see how it goes. I may have to wait until I get a better rig, but we'll just have to see. So, like always, thanks for watching, and God bless.